up 4%. Now, on the international front, we saw that the Euro stocks were up 1%, but that Shanghai had closed down 3.6% and Nikkei negative 3.5%. Now, both of the Chinese and the Japanese markets had closed prior to the post from President Trump that negotiations were underway to wind down the war. As far as the Fed is concerned, very, very light schedule. There's a report on construction spending coming out, but once again, that's a delayed report and only reflects data from January. And folks, we're in March, all right? So from that standpoint, I'm not sure how that's going to impact things, but this is delayed due to that to the shutdown that we had. Now, as far as once again, people are wondering, Raleigh, why are these catalysts important? Well, from Roger's standpoint, he believes that anytime that information is known or will become known during the trading session, that's a volatility flashpoint. And so, from that perspective, if we're taking a look at trading any stocks that might be impacted by one of these volatility flashpoints, well, it will give us cause for pause, as it should. Okay. Anyway, the other thing Roger shared with us today is he gave us the stocks that he was looking at this morning, and he gave us 17 tickers, 9 to the short side and 8 to the long side. Now, folks, once again, this is a watch list. What that means is that these are stocks that Roger has identified this morning before the market opened up that had the potential to be stocks that he might want to trade. Now, once again, that doesn't mean he's going to trade them, but he's going to be keeping his eye on them. And if any of these tickers mature to the point that they represent a nice entry, either going long or short, then more than likely Roger's going to take that trade and he's going to share that in the trading pit or in another one of his premium alert services. As far as Roger's opening thoughts were concerned, we noted that the futures were up sharply on the positive Trump-Iranian post, indicating once again that he was going to be delaying further strikes on their infrastructure for at least 5 days based on discussions between ourselves and leaders in Iran to basically wind the war down. So we had that. We also noted that the put to call ratio was balanced coming into the open, and that the VIX was also moving lower and was sitting there at the 24 level. Now, the S&P, the QQQ, and others, they spiked on the news and were really looking to rally at the open. We did, however, note that the SPY, the QQQ, the Russell, the Dow, they are all in bearish territories, since less than 50% of the companies that comprise those indexes are above the 200-day moving average. From Roger's perspective, he said, look, gang, I am cautiously optimistic based on Friday's market close. Okay, discounting how the market's going to respond to Trump's news. Cautiously optimistic. He feels that the downward momentum is oversold and we are due for a bounce. So the real question today is, do the markets believe what Trump has to say? Because Iran has indicated there have been no talks. So we have, on the one hand, Trump saying we have, Iran saying we don't. From his perspective, he says the market's going to tell us what they believe. There was an initial bounce. There's been a little bit of a retracement. But from that perspective, he said, keep a close eye on what the SPY does. If it holds its head up, keep an eye on the VIX, watch crude oil pricing. But he said, if there's validity to what Trump is stating combined with technical support, he has reason to feel some optimism today. So, gang, we got a great group of people in here this morning. We want to wish you all a happy Monday. Roger's put together a terrific agenda for today. He's going to start by giving us a midday market analysis, which should be interesting given the ebb and flow of what the market has done overnight into where we are here at midday. And he's going to give us his updated stock watch list. He's then going to give us an introduction to the ProTrader dashboard. He's going to tell us why he developed it and how he uses it, and why it's such a good tool for targeting and finding out what institutions institutions are buying and selling in real time and how we can make money from that. He's also going to talk to us about how he determines whether he's going to day trade an opportunity or swing trade an opportunity. And he's going to remind us once again of those 5 critical confirmation levels that he needs to see anytime he's looking at an opportunity in a trending market condition, whether it's trending up or down. Now, if you've got any questions during Roger's presentation, please type them in the chat window and we'll address them periodically throughout the session so as to not interfere with Roger's presentation. The other thing is this, gang, we do have the chat open to everyone. And remember, we have some ground rules. Always be kind and supportive in your posts. Please keep to the topic. No political discussions allowed whatsoever, and keep those side conversations, chit chat between 1 or 2 of you to a bare minimum, because all it does is interfere with the rest of us that are trying to focus on what Roger is sharing with us, because after all, he's here to give us an edge in the markets and to help us all become much more confident and consistent in our trading activities. And with that, folks, let's say hi to Roger. Let's say hi to Matt. Guys, it's good to see you. Roger, happy Monday to you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And what a great session you had this morning. For those,
Thank you. I
hope
appreciate it.
everybody was there this morning to take advantage of what you were sharing with us, because I, like many people, Roger, was kind of girding myself for a pretty negative day today. The futures were pointing lower. Crude oil prices were going up. There was a threat that infrastructure was going to be bombed and retaliation, et cetera. And then, boom, it was like 1,000-point move in the opposite direction.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It was like it was just a completely different like really, really different from what we were expecting. And what made it even complicated was the comments that we've been hearing since that time. I mean, it's Matt made a very good point actually today when we were talking about it. Hold on one second. Let me just move this up here. Good day, everyone on YouTube. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to say hello to everybody on YouTube and good morning to everybody here on our stream. So Matt said, it could be that Iran is so fragmented right now with all the, explosions and everything that they may not be communicating with one another, but which is why we're not getting all that. But we're not getting the full picture. But on the other hand, they've already said 5 or 6 times that it's just lies, lies, and lies. Now, on the other hand, and folks, I'm not getting political. I'm just trying to get to the truth here. Okay, that's really all I'm trying to do. On the other hand, we've had this happen before. Remember during the tariff negotiations, there were several times when Trump said, when in regards to China, that we talked last weekend and we made great progress, and China said, "Hey, we have no idea what he's talking about. We never talked." So I don't know what to believe. I don't know who to believe. I hate to say that. Typically with presidents, I wouldn't be saying that, but in this case, our president, God bless him, he sometimes can say things that are I just don't know what to believe, and either does the market. Let me go ahead and show you why. I'm going to share my screen, Raleigh, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
So right here, you guys could see what's going on. So here is the intraday picture. We gapped up, and now we're filling in that gap, or we're almost getting ready to fill that gap. If we break this level, there's no support beyond this gap fill here, okay? So this 655 level, 656 level, it better hold. It better hold. Otherwise, there's a good chance we're going to come down all the way down here, which is the 652, 653 level. Also, the other thing that I don't like about this, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, it's the fact that look at the 8-day EMA here, and look at how we got slapped as soon as we were trying to come here. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be the 9th time. So do you think something new is going to happen, or do you think it's going to happen like these 9 times? Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you what I think. I have not gone long today yet, okay, in any of my programs, except Matt, with the trading zone, but that's not here nor there. We trade against the trend in that program just as often as we trade with the trend. But as far as stocks or options, I have not gone long. Not in the pit, not in any of our programs. All I've done was take 2 positions profit off the table. Haven't done anything else. What does that tell you? If I was really, really bullish, don't you think I would have been buying it up like there was no tomorrow? No. You know why? Because price action is telling us right now that it has absolutely no idea if Iran or Trump is lying. And I'm just telling you right now based on price action. Okay. Now, again, and folks, I know some of you, anytime I say the word Trump, you cringe because you think I'm going to talk politics, but I'm not really talking politics. I'm talking about the financial markets. Sometimes politics stick their nose into the financial markets, and there's just no way not to talk about it. For me not to talk about it, I would be avoiding the pink elephant in the room, and I would just be foolish. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's lying. I don't know who's telling the truth, and either does the market. Okay. Now, with that said, let me just. So it's very hard for me to make predictions or anticipations because I have absolutely no idea what we're dealing with, and unfortunately, price action is not what's driving the market right now. It's the news. But what's the most sensitive asset to the market? It's volatility. Let's see what volatility is doing. And I'm going to use the same chart that I show you every day. What is volatility doing? Is volatility here?
Mm-mm.
Okay. How many days ago
it's interesting. It spiked down there,
yes,
Roger,
almost,
initially, all the way to the tick. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, of course, when he came out and said it, he's like, it's over. We're done. Capital letters, 5 days. They're cooperating with us. What the? And then they're like, no, we're not. We're not cooperating with you. We're not doing any of those things. And let me be honest with you. Let me be very honest with you. It would be in their advantage to just not say anything, because they will at least buy themselves 5 days of non-bombing, right? So for them to say that shows that they're actually being really aggressive, which is completely contradictory to what our president is saying. And again, it's not. Don't pull he's not patriot. He doesn't believe what. No, I don't know what to believe. And yes, our president has a reputation for taking liberties with words. I'm going to say that too. Okay. All right. With all of that said, and folks, I'm just being honest with you. Okay. I'm just telling you the truth. So again, we need this bar to come here and stay in this level and then eventually break through. We're right now going back up, and that's not good for the stock market. Okay. As far as market internals are concerned, Volt is still looking amazing. Still looking amazing. Unfortunately, we have a market that's driven right now by news, but the Volt is looking absolutely fantastic. It just made a new high. Market internals are looking good. Most stocks are still above yesterday's high. Price is at the precipitous of our value area. Okay, right here. And it's holding on. So we can, and again, I just don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Do you, Raleigh? Do you have any idea who's telling the truth?
No.
I just don't know. I don't know.
And
does anybody know?
I guess the thing that's tough for me is I kind of want to believe it, but I have no basis. So I'm looking for confirmation like anything else. I'm looking for confirmation.
Exactly. I just don't know. I mean, look, I mean, you and I can sit here and we could speculate all day, but do I want to put my hard-earned money on the line based on something I have absolutely no idea on? I don't know. Yeah, so I just don't know. And yeah, you know what? I'm not going to tell you and pretend that I know everything, because I don't. And if anybody does, they're just lying to you. Okay. So market internals are looking absolutely fantastic. And volatility is still up here. So I just don't know. And until we have clarity, I'm not going to be making any bets. Okay, so Roger, what would give you clarity? I'll tell you what would give me clarity. The market breaking above the 8-day EMA and closing above the 8-day EMA, which would be the first time I think that would happen in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and about 2.5, about since the war started, I'm kind of right. It's above the 200, but it's not above, and this could just be a bounce. So, and it doesn't. It looks like we're not really like defending this area all that well. This look at the size of the red candles. They're big. Look at the size of the green candles. There's look in case you guys can't see. Look at these candles. Look at these candles. Look at the volume on these candles. It's going up. Now look at these candles that are going against the trend right now. They're small and volume is going down. That does not bode well for Trump being honest. Okay. Now, what does the market think? If we break low and start coming down here, then the market thinks Trump is lying. If we start coming up here, that means the market believes that Trump is telling the truth. I right now have absolutely no idea. If you put a gun to my head, I would not have a clue. So don't come coming to me and saying you don't believe. I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so and I'm giving you really good education right now because I'm explaining to you what the market is looking at and how the market's reacting. So you see right here, see how small these candles are? See, you had a big red candles and you have three. The market ain't buying anything right now. And again, that's the only problem we're trying to solve right now. Okay, now some pleasantries. Some pleasantries. What did I say Friday would happen regardless of what happens with Trump and Iran? I told you guys that we're due for a big bounce. I showed you. This is all stuff that I did over the weekend. And I showed people this yesterday who came to my Gap to Green class. I drew these lines right here. Let me show you what I did, Raleigh. Were you there this morning?
Yes, I was.
So
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
saw this before. I drew lines right here at all the high volume levels. Look. And every time in the last year or the last, I don't know, no, the last four, I don't know about the last year, but every time we came down here since October, it's just how far I went back. I didn't go further, but I could go as far back as here too. You could see it happening right here. I just figured October was enough. See right here?
Mm-hmm.
See right here, same thing. Right here, right here, right here, right here. And I'm thinking we're going to see the same thing here. Okay. That's number one. Number two, momentum levels on the S&P, we were at 19% this morning. That's very, very low. We've only been there a handful of times in the last 15 years. Consumer discretionary was very, very low this morning. As a matter of fact, I took some screenshots for you. Where are they? Right here. It's always good to have. So here's the Picasso drawing, guys. If we break and come down, the world does not believe Trump. If we come up, the world believes Trump. It's that simple. Okay. So a few things that are important that you guys need to really know. Okay. Wow, I posted a lot of stuff for you guys today already. So put the call ratios now starting to favor the call side, okay? I showed you this morning. This is consumer discretionary. Look at where we hid this morning. We've only been there twice in the last 15 years or 12 years. So regardless of what happens with Trump, we needed a bounce, of which we're getting. This is the S&P 500. We've only been here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times to this level, broke this level. So we're seeing a nice bounce right now. Most importantly, and this is really important, we have 83 stocks making a 1 month a 1 month low right now. This morning that number was 740.
That's
As of
amazing,
Friday.
Roger.
Yeah. And do you remember what I told you on Friday? I said we need to bounce.
Yeah.
We need to
You
bounce.
said everything is setting up for a bounce, almost like the markets want to go higher.
Also, I drew a level for you guys. Whoops. I drew a level for you guys on the SPY about a month ago, right here. See this level?
Mm-hmm.
And we came down to a tick. Look. This chart, go to any of my morning videos from the last month and a half. This is not new. This is based on an old level I drew for you a long time ago. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Key area
Pretty good.
support. Yeah.
Pretty good, right? This is a daily chart. So the question is, I saw somebody say something about dead cat bounce, this, that. So this is not even a bounce at this point. We're just where we were on Friday. We're just keying off of the 200-day moving average, which is right here, and we're below it again right now. So we're only up 1%. So there's really nothing. This is the deadest bounce I've ever seen. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And I think
again,
you said that 655.60 was your level, Roger, right? To keep an eye on
yeah,
as to how far would
yes,
this retrace off the initial high.
exactly. And we went way below that level. I mean, here's what we were looking at in the morning, actually. Actually, hold on. No, we're still holding that level. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, we're still holding that level. No, we're still holding that level. We have not broken that level. No, we're still good on that
So
level.
it's hanging there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah, still
Roger,
hanging.
one question that came up, and if you have just like a minute to
Yeah, I
address
do. I
this,
do.
a couple of people, Jennifer most notably, said, "Hey Roger, if you have a second, what do you mean by momentum levels when you talk about momentum levels?"
It means, okay, the market works like a rubber band. The market goes stretches and pulls back, stretches and pulls back, stretches and pulls back. And sometimes it can get stretched to a point where if it doesn't come back, it's going to break. That's momentum levels. When it pulls away and momentum levels expand and momentum levels decline. Overall momentum levels. The market only has enough strength to do certain amount of things. It can't
Hmm.
just continue moving unless there's continuous selling pressure. Now, I've noticed this is not an indicator. This is something I've been using myself for. This is just something I've noticed over the decades because I do the same thing every day. I've noticed anytime this number gets into the 500s and this gets into the 600s, I mean, we got to give it a little more room right now because of the fundamental events. It tends to bounce back like a springboard. Look, let me show you. Just keep your eye on this number. Let me make it bigger for you.
And this is a personal way that you like to measure this, right,
Yeah, yeah,
Roger?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So you see this number right here? Now look at this. Just keep looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oops. So on Thursday, March 12th, we were at 690, right? Look at that. Okay. And then the next day we were at 544. The next day we were at 102. The next day we were at 69. Bounce back. Now look, continue. 415, 394, 740. That's coming. That's how we went home on Friday. See, Friday, March 20th? That's how
Hmm.
we woke up this morning. And now, right now, we're at 83.
You're at 83.
Now,
Wow.
it doesn't mean we're going to close at 83, but we're not, I'm pretty sure we're not going to close at 740. And and I said that and by the way, I don't know if anybody who here was at my class yesterday in the Gap to
On the
Green
gap to
class.
green. Yep.
I covered this. I took 10 minutes and I explained every one of these things. Every one of Ken, yeah. Yeah, I was there. I mean, this is not, and if you think I'm doing the Monday back quarterbacking and saying, oh, no, no, no. I told you guys this before today.
Hmm.
Everything I'm telling you is 48 hours old. Okay. I was talking to Richie about this, posting these pictures on Friday, yesterday, showing this isn't, there's nothing new here. Okay. Yeah. See me. I was. Thank
Oh my
you,
gosh. Yes,
John.
Roger.
Yeah. 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 There was a couple hundred people there yesterday, and I spent a good 10 minutes, and I showed exactly this. I didn't really do anything different. So, uh,
So Roger, you also have another chart that you look at where you talk about identifying if the market's in a bearish mood. And we saw that the SPY, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ 500, they're all below 50% on companies over 200. Is that also another way that you look at momentum in the market?
no, that's not a
Okay.
momentum. That's a thermometer.
Okay.
That's just the thermometer. That's just me looking at it. This 200 is value. This is fundamental value. This is momentum, 50 and 20 day.
I got you. I got you.
This is real value. This is real serious stuff. So 50 and 20 days, this. Are we moving fast? Are we going from one corner to the other? This is real. This is value. This is like stuff you see on CNBC that Kramer would use. This is like we have less than 50% of stocks trading below the 200-day. I don't know if they're saying it or not, but that's a bear market right there.
Right.
Anything less than 50, that's a bear market. That's a bear market. And I don't. You can argue with me till the cows come home.
So it's more of a trend than anything else.
Yeah,
as opposed to a short-term momentum.
Right. Swing. That's not swings. This is real. This is movement. This is sustainable movement. These are just swings. This is real. This is the real deal. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry if I've never explained that in detail.
No. I think for people that might be just brand new here or recent additions, Roger, from time to time these questions come up, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes to share that with everyone.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. So right now, let me just kind of quickly see what the market's doing, and then I want to get into some edumacation with you. Give you guys some edumacation. Looks like the market wants to break that level. Looks like it's breaking that level right now. Okay, so again, I'm very cautious. All I could tell you is this: if I was really believing all this stuff that we're gonna have pause for 5 days, then theoretically the market should really start recovering, right? I haven't gone long. I have not gone long. So I'm not going to tell you what I think, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, and that's not going long. So you could see exactly what I believe. Because if I believed, I would have gone long. Everybody would have gone long. People are not going long right now. People are, look, we're at this support area right here. If we break this level, coming off. Okay. All right. Let me just find my footing here, and then I'm going to. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yep, and there's that break I was talking about. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, the market ain't buying it. Whatever we're trying to sell it, the market ain't buying it. And again, folks, I'd rather you hate me or not like what I'm saying, but lose money. I don't care about, you'll forgive me, I promise you. But losing money, people tend to remember. Okay. So what do I want to talk to you guys about? I want to talk to you guys about something I'm very excited about. And I'm very, very excited about my ProTrader dashboard. Now, why am I excited about my ProTrader dashboard? Oh, wait a minute. I haven't given you my top stocks yet. I got to give you my top stocks. I'll be talking about the ProTrader dashboard all week, by the way. Let me, oh, there's that break right there. Let me give you my top stocks. We're going to be talking about stocks, my top stocks pretty much all day, but let me give them to you first. Focus on this side of the fence. Okay. NutX. That compression we keep talking about. Oli. Nice look for a breakdown. ALNY. Nice. That's actually an A line, an extended A line. I don't like A lines beyond I like to go maybe like 5-7 days, but that is technically an A line, although I don't really consider that an A line. I just consider that a consolidation. CNC, nice breakdown, real nice breakdown. High volume candles. No white high volume candles, all yellow. It means only down volume. Every time you see strong move, it's a down move. Otherwise, you'd see white candles, only yellow. It means only down move. Okay. BRBR. Okay. Vitel. Look at how clean that move is.
Mm-hmm.
Look how clean. Look how there's no back and forth. That's what you want. UNH. Look at that. Nice look, right? UNH, real nice looking stock. KHC breaking down again. Deck is getting ugly. Did anybody get that?
Yes. Uggs.
Ugly,
Ugg.
ugh. You know, they make Uggs. They got to break the 100-day. But if they do, we got a nice short here because they're getting ugly. Yeah, they make Uggs. I thought you guys would like that joke.
Absolutely. And I hope they go higher. That's bad.
That's a good one, my friend. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. I like it. I like it. You know, my wife and I, we used to love those Hoka shoes, and we found out that they actually are so comfortable. And if you walk, they're fantastic. But if for runners, they wear out twice as fast as all her other shoes. So she
My
stopped buying
experience
them.
as well. Yep.
Yours too?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just use them for walking. So, and I never wear out any shoes. So for me, I would like it. But my wife, she wears them out. She says the Brooks and the Adidas, they last twice as long as the Hokas. So she stopped buying them. They're expensive too. I mean, for that kind of money, you would expect them
They
to.
are, and they've gotten pricier. Maybe tariffs to that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, these are still shorts, folks, that Roger's
No, no,
focused on.
no. This is my first long actually.
Oh, GS's?
This is
Okay.
my first long. This is
Deck
Goldman
was the
Sachs.
last loss. Okay. Yep.
And it's that pattern where it's trading above the so if you were short here, this is where you would have been stopped out. So there's a lot of squeezing going on here. Ooh, this market is coming off. This market is believing Iran, unfortunately. Like I said, unfortunately. Okay. But I like this breakout here, and I like how financials are starting to move higher. I'm hoping Trump will say something to kind of solidify his position, right? I mean, he doesn't want to look foolish, obviously. Um, RHI, look at that. Nice move from the downside. But the profit targets on these are the key averages. All right. PII. Same thing. Richie and I were talking about this. So if you were short here, this is where you would be stopped out. So there's a lot of squeeziness here. So I'm starting to monitor these type of setups. The jury's still out on them long term, but in the short term, they're looking good. And the target it would be the 200. Out. Out is ready to break out. Not yet, though. Needs to get above this level right here. Hence our watch list. Huh, good to know. I'm going to go ahead and close the chat right now, but Ken B, that's very good information. I guess my wife is not the only one.
Right.
And Raleigh. Me personally, I'm a New Balance guy. I'm addicted to New Balance. I've always worn them, and I love New Balance, and I love how they fit me. WDC. You know what? Scratch this. It's moving way below the area I like to see. It's too weak, and that's very unfortunate right now. Scratch this. GEV. That's a nice look right here. Very expensive stock, but nice look. Sienna. Sienna is still looking really good. Okay, that's my list. Do you need me to repeat any of them, Raleigh, or do you got
No, let
them?
me see. I've got so I had on the longs GS, RHI, PII, out, GEV, and Sienna.
And one more, Dell.
Dell? Okay, good.
Yeah, not your fault. I
As
realized when
in
you read it, I
farmer
have it.
in the.
Yeah, yeah, we got Dell in there as well, right? So
All right,
we
I'm going to
got
post a list here for everybody in case you missed it. They're the shorts and they're the longs. And this is from Rogers. This is his midday update.
yes. Now I'm going to give you guys some education, okay? And this is going to be good education. So what you're looking at right now, you see this screen right here? This is the ProTrader dashboard. And well, that's not it. It's this, it's a combo set. It's this, and the screen behind us. Now I'm just going to go ahead and press this button and this button. And these are the scanners. And we have the ProTrader dashboard for Thinkorswim, for Schwab, and also for TradingView. And what the ProTrader dashboard does is that allows us to generate signals that we later on use to find stocks. And we use stocks, we find stocks on a 5-minute and a hourly basis. Okay. So what I use the ProTrader dashboard, for mostly is to find stocks that are moving really, really quickly. And I also have the same thing on my TC2000, although I'm just experimenting with this. It's not ready just yet. But to give you an idea, to give you just some idea of what we're looking at right now. Here, look at, kind of give you an idea. VG, okay? So, and here's the 5-minute chart. Now, let me show you what the ProTrader dashboard gives you instantly. It tells you right here, instantly. Look at how much information it gives you. It tells you if you have relative strength on a daily basis, an hourly basis, a 30-minute basis, a 15-minute basis, and a 5-minute basis. Pretty important, pretty cool, right? All right. All right. So it's showing you all of that, okay? All of that. Just to give you some ideas of stocks that we'd be looking at right now. So for example, HTO. Look at that trend right here. See how strong it is? And you could see right now what percent. Oh, so this is relative strength and this is relative volume. Okay. Very, very important. Let me do another one. FTP. Not a lot of liquid. There's not a lot of large cap stocks right now that are actually making a big move in the market. Most of them are actually not right now. But there's always some. And let's look at the short side real quick. So for example, look at this one. Look at Match right now. Now I could find these stocks with a click of my mouse. So I could see, oh, how strong, look how weak it is right now. Okay. But volume is really low, but it's got relative weakness and it's got sell levels and it's got stop loss levels. All of that is included in here. So you get all of that. So let's just kind of take a look at some shorts. Shorts are actually hitting it pretty good right now. KHC. Here's another one. Look how the stock is breaking down. It's got relative weakness across every time frame, and it has 61% volume on the day. The day's not halfway over, so anything over 50% is telling us that there's some volume buzzing here. Understand? Very, 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 very important. Let's take another at some other ones. Qualcomm. Stock is breaking down on a daily chart and on an intraday chart. It's weak on every time frame except the daily, and it has low volume. We don't like that. Let's look at some more shorts. How about Wolf? These are stocks that are on the top of my short watch list right now. So really nice weakness, but low volume. Let's see if we could find some stocks that have some volume too. Okay. See if we can get some volume here. But this one. ARCs. Hey, look at this. Big breakdown. Look at the volume. 81% of daily volume.
Wow.
So if you have the right scanner, do you see how I could find stocks that are just falling apart at will?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just give you a couple of others since we're on this in this mode right now. Look at Micron. Look at Micron in the last 45 minutes. But look at how it's gaining strength in comparison to the market right here. It's not losing strength. And when you look at it on a daily, it's above the 50-day moving average. We would not short this, okay? We would not short this.
How does Nike look?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Nike. Let's take a look. Nike is coming up for air, but it's kind of in the middle. It's not really breaking down right now, but it's got pretty good I mean, it's not a bad short, but I wouldn't be. It's not ready at this moment right now. Here's your profit targets on Nike if you wanted to short it.
Mm-hmm.
A word 52.74. Your first profit is at 52.14, and your second one's at 51.71. There's your stop level. It's all here. It's all there for you, and you could see right now. So, what would make me take Nike right now? I'd want to see the daily bar right here. Instead of today, I want to see it like it was yesterday. I want to see it below yesterday's low. And right here, I would want to see volume and one of these green and this over 50%. This is telling me that volume right now is pretty much average. I wouldn't want to short a stock right now with average volume. I'd want to short a stock with beyond average volume. Like, for example, let me give you a good example. Look at this one. Okay, see that? See how we got some green here? It means you got high relative volume here. 87% on the day. Okay. Look at this one here. This is the weakest stock on Wall Street right now. Right now. The weakest stock on Wall Street right now. Look at it daily. It traversed the 100-day moving average. It broke and it's coming down to the 200 on the daily. It's not really that. It's starting to get weak again. It just dropped from 33.80 to 32.90. And look, it's got relative weakness on every time frame except the 5 minutes, right? And look, it's got 15-minute volume, relative volume on a daily, and percentage of volume is now at 174% of its daily volume. Do we know if this is high volume or not? Absolutely. You see how everything is for me right here on my screen?
Mm-hmm.
And how the scanner just feeds me the data and I'm able to see it live? Right? I just updated them again. They're right now looking for data. But it just pops up on my scanner. Let me give you a couple of others. Here's some more stocks coming off right now. How about this one right here? CNC. CNC. Look at how weak the stock is. Look at how weak it is compared to the market. Red means it's underperforming the SPY. Green means it's outperforming the SPY. So I could be trading to the short side or the long side. Let's go see if there's any longs that just popped up.
And Roger, when we say
Yes.
underperforming to the SPY, what you're saying is that institutions are liquidating this.
Yes. Yes.
This is what an institution is doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right here. You could see right here, underperforming the SPY. And our oscillator, look, all red. And look, the red is just increasing and increasing right here.
Mm-hmm.
So let me show you how this works, folks. Okay. Right here, look how cool this is. This right here is the stock. Okay.
Okay.
That is the sector. That is the market. You want to see the stock. If you're going to go short, you want to see the stock weaker than the market and the S&P 500. And you want momentum to be coming down just like this. And you want relative weakness to be red, not green, because red is red. And you want volume to be above whatever you covered on the day. But notice, interestingly, how I could see all that right here. It's pretty cool, Raleigh, isn't it?
That's fantastic, Roger.
All of that I could see right here. So I get to see my short breakdown right here with the arrow. I get my profit targets. All of it is right here. All right, do we have any questions before I move on to the long side?
Yeah, one quick question with regard to just looking at the volume. So Roger, for example, when you're looking for volume for confirmation, you want to make sure the volume is at least equal to where we are in the trading day. For example, if we're halfway through the trading day, you want to see that the volume's like at 50% or higher.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And also, so here's my TC2000 scanner, right? Just to show you. So right here, it's loading right now on a 5-minute basis. Right here, it's calculating for us right now. You see how this right here is lighting up in green?
Yeah.
This is telling us on a 5-minute basis where the volume is right now, right here. So if I have something coming up right here, and if I have a green coming up here, I know that the 5-minute will be lighting up like there's no tomorrow right now. So this is KDP, Dr. Pepper, right? I think it is. Yeah, Dr. Pepper. So let's take a quick look. KDP. There it is. See on the 5-minute?
Yep.
I have my so this is telling me if I have a spurt of buying or selling pressure showing up right here, it'll tell me. So this tells me how weak it is, and this is telling me how much volume is coming into it. Pretty cool. And this is telling me if the arrow already appeared. In other words, if it broke down or is waiting to break down. So just by looking at this picture and by looking at this, I can have a full picture of what stocks are moving, if volume is accompanying them, what time frame they're moving, where's the profit targets and my stop loss, and whether momentum is there, whether the stock is stronger or weaker than the sector, and whether momentum is breaking down continuously on the oscillator.
Wow.
I could tell all of that from this. Now, I use this exclusively to generate trades for the pit. This is what I use. And all day long, you'll see me sitting there and clicking away and clicking away and clicking away and looking for stocks. Right now, there's nothing in play to the upside. Everything's in play to the downside, which is why I'm looking at this. But if everything was in play, something was in play to the upside, I would be looking at this. This is my bullish and this is my bearish. And you can see right here how it just calculates everything. And see right now, volume right now on the stock, KDP is increasing. Also, Moderna volume is really high, and it's pretty weak right now. Let's take a
And
look.
so then on the scanner, Roger, all you have to do is click on the symbol and it takes you right to the chart.
Exactly. So
Wow.
look at Moderna. Look at Moderna. It just went to our first profit target. Here's our arrow. Here's our first profit target. Here's our second profit target. But volume is not there anymore. It was pretty good a minute ago, but they do dry up. So yeah, Moderna, it's no more. See, it was showing green right now, but it's not showing green. So all I have to do is look at this, and just look at the top ones to see the weakest stocks, or look at my long one to see the strongest stocks. And I don't have to sit there and do this like a lot of people do. It's constantly feeding me the best stocks for the long side and for the short side. So I could tell you right now, like, for example, do you guys know the weakest stocks on Wall Street, the weakest large caps on Wall Street? You probably don't, but I do. In order, MOH is the weakest stock on Wall Street right now. And they're using a 5-minute time frame, followed by UNH, followed by KDP, followed by Moderna, followed by SJM, followed by APD, followed by DRI, followed by STX. Then no more stocks that are underperforming the market. These are the only stocks right now that are underperforming the market, believe it or not. So this really, really gives us an amazing view of what we should be looking for, and also tells us if I see right now red from here to here, I'll know that there's tons of stocks underperforming the market. But I'm only seeing these stocks, so it's telling me there's only a handful of stocks. We're really choppy right now. We're
Yeah.
really, really choppy right now. So there's just not much there. But this gives you a really good example of where we are. And then after I find these stocks, I'll go to so let's pick one. How about we pick MOH, okay? Let's just pick MOH. So let's just pick MOH. There's MOH right there. Nice breakdown. And then we would go to the option chain, right? And we would here. What do we always do? We go 3 to 5 weeks out on average, 4 to 6 weeks out. In this case, they only have monthly options. Not really great. So I probably just go 25 days, and I would probably just do a debit spread. How do we do a debit spread? We start at the 0.50 delta right here. And we go, oh, that's a call, sorry. We start at 0.50. Notice I don't even look at the strike price. I look at the delta. We look at 0.50, and then we go one strike price further. That's $5, right? Okay, we know right away without looking at anything else. We know we have to spend less than $2.50 or there's no soup for us. So right here, $1.20. $1.20 is a lot less than $2.50.
Yeah.
That gives me almost a 3.5 to 1 win to risk to reward ratio. So instead of buying a put for $13, I spreaded the 135 versus the 130, and I did it for $1.20.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad, right? And you have 5 points minus what you paid profit potential there. So $1.20 minus 5, that's 380. So your risk is 120, your profit potential is 380. That's 300% profit potential. And you've only spent $1.20 on the option. Not bad, right, Raleigh?
That's terrific.
Should we do another one?
Yeah.
What do people have to say? Do they want me to do another one? By the way, look, more bearish stocks opening up, more bearish stocks. Before it was like up to here. Now we have more bearish stocks coming. And all I'm doing is watching to see how they fight each other, to see which ones are on the table. Again, I'm only doing bearishness right now because we're below the 200-day moving average, and I'm more focused on bearish stocks and bullish stocks. But with that said, let's take a look at Qualcomm, shall we? Okay, so let's take a look. There's Qualcomm, okay? All right. So we're not scalping right now, so let's just kind of look at all our scenarios, okay? And this is exactly how I would select trades for the pit. Okay, so I'd go about 32 or 39 days out. I would go to 0.70, which is 78. That's the closest one, and it would be about $9. Or I can go about 10 days out. I can go 0.50, which would be the closest one right here, 0.48. You could do 0.56 if you want. It's fine, but start with 0.48. That's 320. There we go. See, I didn't even look at the strikes. I go here. Then I scroll across after I find my anchor. I go across, and I find my 128. Okay, $1, right? So if this is $1, I know I have to spend less than 50 cents. I've got to spend less than 50% of whatever the spread is. The spread is $1. I'm going to spend less than 50 cents. Survey says 320 versus 168. Oy vey, no way. Not going to work. That ain't going to work for me. And there's not a lot of volume here. So that won't work. So let's try this. 128 versus 126. Okay. Will that work? 320, 170. That's like $1.60. Nope, too much. We can't spend more than $1 because the difference between 128 and 126 is $2, and we can't spend more than 50%. All right. How about 125 versus 128? This is actually a good way to show how to do all this. So, well, that's $3. Well, that means we can't spend more than $1.50, right?
$1.50. Yep.
All right. What's this? This is 320 and this is 210. Mazel tov. Lift off. This is only 90 cents. $1.50, 90 cents. 90 cents is a lot lower than $1.50. So we could do the 128 versus 125. So you see how I just showed you how we do it? We tried doing the 128 versus the 127. We couldn't do it. We tried doing the 128 versus the 126. We couldn't do it. Then finally, we went to the. Let me turn the heater off. Then finally, we went to the 128 and 125. $3 there. Can't spend more than $1.50. And we found out that we could do it for 90 cents. 90 cents is less than $1.50. Any questions?
No, I think that's fantastic, Roger. And it all started with the fact that, hey, if $9 is too rich for your blood, there's an option. Go ahead and look at a debit spread on that.
Yes, exactly.
Another question did come up. When you look at these debit spreads, Roger, is volume a consideration for you at all?
Only if I can't get it off. In other words, volume is an issue if the market makers are playing games. Remember what I always tell you. Instead of looking at volume, try to see if the market maker's an asshole or not. I've always told you guys that. Either the market
How do you know that?
You know that by how he's playing games with you, by how he's spreading the options.
Right.
And the only way you can figure that out is by spending the time. See, I got actually an email, I think it was yesterday or the day before, from one of our members, Sandy. And she was asking me a really good question. She's like, well, how do you know When you chase, when do you know? And I told her, I said, look, I can give you an answer, but my answer is just going to be nonsense. The only way you could figure certain things out is by staring at the option screen for a couple of hours. Your answers will be answered. Are they playing games with you? Are they spreading the option wide even though there's liquidity? Are they keeping the options wide even though volume is coming in? Are they really making it hard to get filled? You will know. You will know within 10 seconds of looking at an options spreadsheet, if you know what to look at, if the market maker's playing games with you or not. Instead of me explaining to you, you could learn it yourself by just looking at it. And what would you look at? You would look at the relationship between the spreads on options that have volume versus options that don't have volume in this particular case. So if the options, if the market maker is spreading the option that has volume, and the same as he's spreading an option that doesn't have volume, he's just playing games with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Versus this market maker. Look, for example, you see how there's no, let me give you a great example. See how there's no volume here? See how there's no volume here? Look at the spreads on these options versus the spreads that have volume. They're the same.
Yes.
You understand? He's not playing games with you. Versus going and seeing an option that has 100 contracts versus 0, and the market maker is spreading them the same. He's just being an asshole. That's the nicest way I could put it. That's the best. All you have to do is look at the spreadsheet.
You're right. Exactly.
I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book and say, how do you know if the market maker's playing is being an asshole or not? You could look at 10 option screens for 5 minutes and you'll start seeing it. Look, zero liquidity. Spreads are just as tight as options that have liquidity. He's looking to make a trade. He's not looking to play games. Also, let's say you see an option. Another way you could tell. Let's say you, and everything I'm telling you right now is just based on simple experience. You're not going to learn this in a book. You see how right here, for example, you got 230, 262. He's keeping it narrow, but the fill is at 170. See, he's not doing anything weird. Like right here. Here's a great example. 237 bid, 305 offer, 2 contracts. But look at where the last one, right in the middle. It's right in between these 2 levels.
Right.
I mean, you could tell right away this guy is not playing games. He wants to do business. He's not trying to pull the old, let's get into a taxi cab in Mexico and we'll find out how much the fare will be after we get there. He's not doing that, okay? He's not putting the banana in. Have you ever gone to an airport in Mexico? They never let you get into a taxi cab. They always go and negotiate with the taxi cab. That's because they're sitting with the taxi cab and going, okay, how much can we take this gringo for? How much can we take him for? That's what they do. I've asked the taxi drivers. That's what they do. If you're wearing jewelry, nice shoes, they'll say the trip is $30. And if you look like you don't have any money, they'll say it's $15. They make almost no money. So anything is, and they split it with the guy that's what they do. That's what they do. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You go directly to the taxi cab when you go to Mexico to avoid the middleman. Same thing here. Don't play with market makers that want to play games with you. You know, I should write a book, Raleigh. The fast way to see if a market maker's playing games with you or not. You know, but time and experience, and not that much time. Just notice a couple of different things. Look at the options that have a good liquidity versus no liquidity, and look at the spreads. And then look at options that have very little liquidity and see if the last trade is between the bid and the offer. Usually, if those things are on the level, the market maker wants to play games with you. Okay? Nice and simple. Any questions before we move on to the next segment of our show?
No, I tell you what, it's great. Well, we did get a heads up that the president has landed in Memphis.
Okay.
And your point was, Roger, you mentioned it earlier, wondering if whether Trump was going to be speaking again today. And apparently he's landed in Memphis, and he's speaking now.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I know. There's no way he's not going to, he's going to have the last word on this. He's not going to make Iran make him look bad, right? He's not going to do that. Okay, so here is the bullish. Here are all the stocks that are bullish. So look. It's loading right now. It's just calculating. See right here? Oh, see right there? See that? That's volume. That's telling me that Amazon is seeing a little volume spike right there. Oh, now Bros is now seeing a volume spike. So this gives me relative strength, and this gives me momentum. So Bros, let's see what Bros is doing. Let's see what Bros is doing. Not really doing very much, but it's got volume coming in. Yeah, stocks right now, because market's going down, all the relative strength is coming. And by the way, it didn't really have a very good relative strength. It was that the relative strength on it was 1. So it's not really that strong. This is where the strength is. AI. Let's look at AI. No strength there either. Huh. It's not a lot of strong stocks right now. See, weakness, we got some weakness, but nothing on strength. Let me see, CFLT. Just nothing really right now really moving that great.
Mm-hmm. And there was a question that came up earlier, Roger, in your trading day, when do you start to look at the scanner?
That's a good question. I started looking at the scanner at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. I don't do anything. The only thing I do before 10 o'clock is offset positions and study the markets. Okay. So right here, this is my long scanner, and you've already seen the short one. It looks exactly like this. It's right here. So this is the ProTrader dashboard, and I exclusively use the ProTrader dashboard to find trades in the Roger Scott trading pit. And let me tell you, today, oh, that's good. Hold on, let me. And today, I'm going to be giving you a class right now. I'm going to give you a class, a very good class on the ProTrader dashboard, and it's going to be extremely educational. I highly recommend that you hang out with me for the next half an hour or so. Raleigh will moderate, and we're going to answer all of your questions, but I want to go through this presentation because a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, hey, Roger, I know you have a 95% win rate in the pit. I want to get in on that program. So I want to explain to you something real quick before we begin, and this is really important. And I know I say that a lot, but this is really important. The reason I made the ProTrader dashboard is so that retail traders like you can gauge what institutions are doing as they are doing it and confirm that institutions are playing games or that they mean business. There is no tool on Wall Street or anywhere else like the ProTrader dashboard. If there was, I would have just bought one or programmed it. I had to make it myself from scratch. It is the coolest tool I have to determine directions of stocks intraday and overnight. During the day, I use the ProTrader dashboard here. I could just show you this right now. I use the 5-minute relative scan. The last hour of the day, I have the same thing for hourly, and I use hourly to see which stocks are moving slower towards the end of the day, higher or lower. And I swing trade those stocks all the time. Like today on Monday, I don't do Mondays. I don't do on Mondays anything really too much in the morning. I usually do things in the second half of the day. And I do it for that reason. We have a cyclical swing from Monday to Tuesday. But the ProTrader dashboard helps me identify each and every trade that I do in the pit. So if you're really and when I launched the ProTrader dashboard in the pit, that's when folks started quitting their day jobs. Now, I know that sounds very like, oh my God, people started quitting their day jobs. I'm not kidding. I really do mean that. People started quitting their day jobs. People saw that it was actually possible to have a non-random trading success on a consistent basis. Okay. So folks, please listen carefully to what I'm about to teach you. This is really, really important stuff. You need to pay attention. And since we launched the ProTrader dashboard, I have